Is Azzi Fudd a good basketball player? According to some, she's a future star, but to others, she's just a role player. Now, polarization is normal for bad self-creators who excel in other areas, but in Azzi's case, I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. For starters, she's a generational three-point shooter, capable of drilling catch-and-shoot threes while the ball is barely in her hands. And because of this, you quite literally can't go under on any handoffs or pin downs she's involved in. She's at 42% from 3 on 6 attempts for her college career, which comfortably puts her in rarefied air when it comes to shooting the ball. Part of what makes Fudd so dangerous just spotting up is that she doesn't need to bring the ball down to get a strong energy transfer on her shots. The ball is out of her hands as soon as it reaches her. UConn runs a lot of actions to help her get free, like this elevator screen to get her an above the break look, and I think her most translatable skill is being able to obtain some usage without monopolizing the ball. Watch this play again. She always is moving even after the first action is taken away, which constantly applies pressure on the defense. And it's worth pointing out that she has to get her feet set to get these shots off, which can impact her shot speed and timing at the next level, but nonetheless, still rightfully, defenses react to her constant movement by briefly putting 2 on her to prevent advantages, which creates open looks for her teammates. She's also phenomenal at relocating. This is probably my favorite Azzi play of the year, where she backpedals to the free throw line to find open airspace for a 3, while also providing a driving lane for Sarah Strong at the same time. It's one of the more concrete things you can point to in her entire profile. When Azzi is on the floor, National Player of the Year Sarah Strong had about a 55 rim rate. When Azzi went to the bench, that number dropped to under 45%. That's a massive difference. Not only that, but she impacts the speedy parts of UConn's offense. You'd probably never believe that Fudd has massive transition influence on her team, but she's actually the biggest driver in that being such a massive success for the Huskies offense. If we look at the 2025 UConn numbers with Sarah, Paige, and Azzi in and out of the lineup, we see that there's a major change in their transition influence until Azzi is the one removed from the lineup. The same applies for the 2026 data with just Sarah and Azzi. And when you take a further look into their play type involvement when on the court together, you see just how much UConn relies on Azzi's transition shooting for productive offense. This type of scoring usage out of transition and her year-to-year consistent impact in the tracking data gives her a strong case to be one of the best transition players in the class. Fudd is also a low turnover player too, but that's largely because she's not forcing plays she knows she can't make. She's a good connective passer and is mostly looking to shoot when she gets the ball, which is why her turnovers are as low as they are. But the truth is, Fudd still has a weak handle, which hampers her ability to attack closeouts from a standstill. She also can't create any separation with her handle, which is just as important for a self-creator as being able to dribble. And when the spacing alignment in UConn's system isn't ideal, she struggles handling the ball in traffic too. I think this is the ultimate reason why Fudd operates exclusively out of off-ball play types, and even against teams with athletic defenders, funneling her inside the 3-point line and forcing her to be a 2-point scorer has been the most effective way to neuter her impact. Over the last 2 years combined, Azzi is sub 50 on 2-point shots and has a 20% rim rate, which also means she gets to the free throw line at an alarmingly low rate, sub 10% to be exact. The lack of a handle impacts her scoring arsenal too. She plays like a wing, but she's not wing sized, which means she's kind of squeezed from both sides. She can't really create off the bounce at the volume you need a true lead guard, and she's not going to impose her will as a physical driver. Her value at the next level will be largely dictated by the system she goes to and the usage she's asked to carry. She's underwhelming as a 2-point shooter as well, shooting only around 30% from there, and I think a lot of that is because she doesn't get a ton of lift on her shots. She's hovering around 92.5% from the free throw line for her career, which suggests jump shooting leaps are within her reach, especially from the pull-up 2 and 3, but as of right now, there's a legitimate question in her game that I believe she'll have to up her 3-point rate to around 60% to compensate for. She has the volume and percentages to make this worthwhile, But there also aren't a lot of historical precedents for players who play this way being all-star level players. She's not someone I think can lead your team in usage or even be second, but at the same time, relegating her to the corner for strictly catch and shoots would be a gross misuse of her talent and how she impacts so many offensive play types with her shooting and constant threatening presence to defenses with her movement. On defense is actually what lies the biggest questions in her game for me. Fudd is not wing-sized and she can struggle at times navigating screens, is often hit or miss on her quickness to recover the ball handlers and shooters when she goes under these screens, and I think her past ACL injuries have hampered her east to west lateral movement. She often gets barbecued on quick right to left crossovers from the shiftiest of guards. Man, Sarah Strong is amazing. And I also think that's part of the reason why her steal percentage numbers have been a little underwhelming for guard prospects, despite having what I'd consider to be incredible recovery speed. I've watched her recover to make plays on the ball that I didn't think were possible, and she's done it mostly from a textbook defensive slide. Some prospects opt to turn their hips and run to stay with slashers. Each method has its own pros and cons, but for Azzi, this slide means she's less susceptible to change of pace moves and can stifle weaker ball handlers with her solid core strength. I wouldn't put her as a point of attack defender against quick, shifty guards in the WNBA, nor have her necessarily chasing movement shooters off a ton of screens, but what she is a genuinely savvy off-ball defender with exceptional feel for reading how plays develop, and that's rarer than people think. Her off-ball awareness is the foundation of everything good about her defense. She's not just standing in the right spot, she's reading the play before it develops and making active decisions about where the danger is. She recognizes that Sarah Strong falling creates a 2-on-1 for Michigan, so she stunts at the ball handler and forces the good three-point shooter in Silas Swords to give it up to a weaker shooter, and that's knowing the scouting report. And her principles are just sound overall. Hands up in transition, textbook closeouts, and she's clearly been well coached and has internalized the right habits, which is all part of the case for her having the highest floor and the most ready to contribute label in her class. Much like the other prospects before, I would use her exclusively out of her strong off-ball play types, but I do think she's someone worth giving medium usage to, perhaps because of her ancillary skills. But the second option label sounds a bit too far-fetched for her, given her lack of a handle and standstill separation. If I squint, I could maybe get there if she's paired with a legit GOAT level offensive engine, but I feel more comfortable giving her the third, fourth option label on offense, that if used more than as a spot-up shooter and more as a constant screener and a cutter to take defenders with her, could have massive true shooting influence and some plus turnover influence as a byproduct of her role. And if she's able to be a plus perimeter defender as well, while being the third, fourth option on her team in usage, that's someone who, while carrying the role player title, could in fact replicate all-star level impact. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. We are just about a week and a half away from the WNBA draft, which means I'll be dropping my big board on the Process Over Results podcast with my co-host Boone. You can stay on the lookout for that, as well as a few more prospect videos that will be dropping after the NCAA tournament is over. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.